Wall E. An E of wall. A wall of E. Is that like Class A drug? A wall of Class A drug in the...
just a shitload of pills.
Is that why it's like just one robot on the planet on his own, because he's taking so many drugs? It's just one guy taking so many drugs. He thinks he's a robot on a planet on his own. That's why he calls himself Wall-E, because it's a wall of E that is consumed. I think that's my theory, right? Hello, anyway. Welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast. My name is Gareth Evans, and this is Mr. Henry Cooper.
I need the belt on my shoulder.
Pew, 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 pew. The rating.
The need to do the rock eyebrow. Can't get it high enough. Can you smell?
The current undefeated champion of the world.
Undefeated with no wins and no losses.
Exactly.
You can't be defeated if you never try.
Exactly.
So, what are we actually going to talk about other than my budding wrestling career?
This is the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast, episode number 18. I've just noticed that my milk is curdled, and that looks horrible. But I'll still drink it because I'm a double hard bastard.
Down your mug as well.
I'm a double hard bastard. Well, you know.
Double hard.
Such is life when you're a gangster like me. Anyway, we're matching blue today. That's fun for those of you who are watching on YouTube.
Go blue, right? I guess.
Go blue team.
Because we're just so masculine. Can't be having any of that pink.
That was where the Wall-E reference came from, by the way. The out of context intro of the day is actually in context now, because you know what the fuck we were talking about.
The drug addict man who thinks he's a robot.
There you go.
I mean,
that's my theory. I've never seen the film, but
it's nothing, not even close. it's all about environmentalism and
well. Enough talking about your t-shirt. Let's talk about gaming, retro gaming.
We've got arcade cabinet.
We've got a couple of things retro-wise to talk about today. I mean, you could say really that it's all about either old technology or new technology today. But we've got a few things to discuss with you today. We have got a discussion surrounding the GoG 2.0 beta that is launching, and what does that mean? Well, it means a lot of things if you're interested in keeping all your games in one place on the PC. That's worth sticking around for. Link in the description for the timestamp if you want to jump straight to that. Here's physics. Isn't that a good thing now in games? Well, we'll be discussing that too. Another link in the description. Also, we'll be taking the Discord questions. We might have a little chat about Game of Thrones.
Maybe, if we've got time.
We'll see.
We'll try not to...
Again,
spoilery.
If you didn't want to miss the spoilers, the links are in the description for the timestamps. Or if you're listening on any of your podcast services, there's the description of this podcast will feature the timestamps. So if we get to a point where you're like, oh shit, I haven't seen Game of Thrones yet, I want to skip it, then just skip to the next timestamp in your list and you'll be fine. So
just about Game of Thrones, I do think it's one of the most spoiled things ever. Because normally there's a general kind of unspoken rule, like you'll wait a bit, like a week before you start dropping things. But on day of release,
not even days now, not even an hour,
because it airs,
it's like tweeting live
tweeting. It's like, and it's literal spoilers. Oh, so and so has done this, and it's like, what are you doing? Especially because it airs in the US before it airs over here in the UK, so we're a little bit behind, and then every US Twitter person is just like, oh, I can't believe blah blah. I'm like,
muted words on Twitter is a must around the time of a new release, whether it's a new Star Wars film or a new Game of Thrones episode or whatever you're watching. Muted words on Twitter is the only way to go.
I just stopped using it.
And even then, if you click on the trending stuff, God, it can spoil it too. So just maybe stay away from social media, just in general, not just for spoilers, just in general, because it's fucking bad for you. Anyway, on that note. What else we got? We're going to be talking about discussing some YouTube comments and putting the commenters straight, because they're fucking wrong.
You're just incorrect.
Not all of them. Like most of you guys who watch this podcast are generally right. But first, we are going to talk about Playdate. You fancy Playdate? Get together and have a bit of a Playdate.
What are we going to play? Should we bring over the Legos?
Yeah, Playdate. So yeah, when you were a kid, you had a Playdate, and when you were a kid, you played on a Game Boy. You might have done. Like, if you were like me, then you definitely would have. But now, Playdate is the name of something else. Playdate is a new handheld device coming to the market early next year. It's being developed or manufactured by Panic, created by Panic. And Panic, if you haven't heard of them, they have published 2016's Firewatch, so the publisher over that, and they are publishing the 2019 as yet undetermined release date Untitled Goose Game. Whenever that comes, it will be published by Panic.
Goose.
Talk to me, Goose. That's
had to force that
Top Gun reference there for those of you who aren't familiar with awesome films. So Panic, for over 20 years, has mostly made Mac and iOS software, and they're diversifying their portfolio. They've moved into games publishing. Now they're making this handheld device thing. Anyway, what is it? It's got a yellow body. It's got a 2.7-inch black and white screen with no backlight. It's got a D-pad and 2 buttons, like I said, a lot like the Game Boy used to have.
Yep, classic
Game Boy. But its defining feature is that it has a crank. A crank.
Yeah.
It's something that you hold on to and turn.
You manually wind.
Yeah. And the crank isn't to power it. It's like it does have a battery. The crank is to interact with your games.
Yeah, it's like an extra control input thing. You wind it up and stuff happens in game.
I mean, I'm not sure who was panicking at Panic to think that a crank would be a good idea, but apparently somebody was.
And to throw it out for $149 US.
Yeah, it's coming in early 2020. It's coming out for $149 price tag, but with that, you will get 12 games, right? But they're releasing them in a very weird format, in the form of a season, because everything's done in seasons in the gaming industry these days. As if Fortnite wasn't bad enough influence on the rest of the industry. But yeah, you're getting your 12 games in the form of a season, one per week, for every week after it launches. So you do get season 1 of games included in the price tag, which is nice of them. So $150 will get you this 2.7-inch screened, black and white screened device with a crank, and you get 12 games with it. So, I mean, what are the games like, I hear you ask? Well, games from developers from Keita Takahashi, who made the Katamari Damacy series. That is, one of the.
Is that the one where you're a little ball,
your little cat,
and you'd like absorb stuff? And you, like it all sticks to you. Is that the one I'm thinking?
It's one of the weirdest games. Katamari Damacy Reroll was a recent release, if I can say that, on the Nintendo Switch, just end of December last year. It's a third-person puzzle action video game developed and published by Namco for PS2. This is the original one. Katamari Damacy. It's got one of the weirdest names in gaming, that's for sure, but he is a very highly rated developer. Is Keita Takahashi. Moving on, Zach Gage, who made Spell Tower, is making one of the games, and Bennett Foddy, who made QWOP.
QWOP. Does the QWOP stand for anything?
The infamous QWOP. It's the keys that you use to control the game. QWOP. Apparently, they're quite highly reputable developers. Not that I've heard much about any of them apart from Keita Takahashi. But there you go. And we've got quotes here from Panic, who say it's 12 brand new video games, one each week. What are these games? Here's the thing. We'd like to keep them a secret until they appear on your Playdate. We want to surprise you. Some are short, some are long, some are experimental, some traditional, all are fun. It will ship in early 2020, $149. It's not super cheap, but not super expensive. It includes brand new games from some amazing creators, plus it has a crank. I mean, are you sold? Is this interesting for you?
Oh, we want to keep them as a surprise. That's great. Yeah, but I'd also like to know what I'm paying for. Thank you very much. Keep your second season as a surprise, because then you still get, there's all this extra stuff. Like, what will it be? Will I want to buy them? And then you get anticipation. But if you spend in $150
on a handheld device, which it can't be easy to hold.
How
small
teeny.
It? 2.7-inch black and white screen
with the crank. Where do you put your hand? Because you can't wrap around it if that's there, and you've got to twizzle and push the. I can't get my head around it.
I'm sensing that you're not on board.
I just don't get it
with the concept.
I don't get it.
This is my first question. Right? Who were they aiming at with this? Who was the target audience for this device? Maybe. Retro gamers
because it's got a very retro feel.
Hipster gamers who want
Those people who have Game Boy phone cases who probably never owned one.
I'm excited by the prospect of a new device coming to market.
Yeah.
Having looked at it, if you think about it, if you take away the crank, that's its unique selling feature. Oh, this thing has a crank. Other than that, your screen is terrible. It doesn't have a backlight. That's terrible.
There's not no reason.
It's really small. You know, it's not going to be that good to hold, and it's bright yellow, so you can't really play it in public without being very cool, conspicuous about it. I don't see 12 games in 12 weeks. I like that. I like the idea of having a new game coming every week that we don't know what it is. However, like you said, if you don't know what you're buying, it's licensed for them to get away with all sorts of shit.
And presumably these games, I'm assuming these games are digital, so you download them, so it's going to have some internet connectivity.
Yeah, you would assume.
But then, how much space do you have on the thing? Like, because if all these games are coming in, I mean, if they are in this retro vibe, like in a low 8 or 16-bit, whatever, they're not going to take up that much space at all, really.
Yeah.
But over time, you might end up with loads. Like, can you delete them?
Yeah.
Like, what's the interface? What's your dashboard?
Well, yeah. The question for me is, it's pitched at is it a low price? It's a mid-tier price, I'm guessing. You think about, you can get a Nintendo DS now with a game for like $80.
Yeah.
So that, you think you can get a lot of game time out of a DS, whereas what can you get out of this with 2 colors?
Because I get that they seem to be going for this like retro thing, but you know what the retro industry already has? Generations of consoles. They've already got all of them.
Yeah, and personally, I think the worst, or the worst news for this, as if they hadn't considered this, but the worst news for this console is mobile phones. There's so many games that you can play for free with your mobile phone in the same kind of size package, but you've got a color screen, you've got like 1080 plus resolution, you've got OLED displays now, you've got awesome processors, they're at your fingertips, games for free as well as like paid games. All right, you've got this crank thing, but that's nothing that you can't emulate, turning the circle on your screen. I don't see how this is gonna, if you want play retro games, use your phone on a better resolution, better better everything, better performance. I don't know. And the question, an interesting one for me is, how many of these are they going to have to sell to turn a profit? Where's their like break-even point? $150. All these games that they're season 1. They're paying for those developers to develop those games in season 1. So these developers aren't going to get money from that because there's not going to be a purchase for these games. So they're covering the costs of that too. I would be dubious. I wouldn't be investing. If this was the Shark Tank or whatever they call it in the UK, I'm
Dragon's
out. Dragon's Den. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out. I'm not investing. I just don't see, apart from the crank, anything that's unique about this. But hey ho, what do I know? I'm just a stupid YouTuber spouting my toxic opinions on the internet.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we do, right?
I'm kind of keen for it. It
looks good.
It's a new idea. It's got the crank thing's a cute little gimmick.
Yeah,
I just don't get it. But I would like to be convinced. I'd like this to be its own little thing. No one wants it to fail, right?
Yeah, I wish them all the best. I honestly do. I wish them all the best.
It's creative, and the crank I think is a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
Don't know how it works in practice, but there you go.
In terms of the business side, I wish them all the best. I'm happy that they're bringing new products to the industry. The industry needs more of this type of innovation, if you can call it that, even though it's a retro thing. I don't know. But still, I'm entitled to my opinion, and I'm not investing.
It's a no from me. Over to Theo Paphitis, is that the guy?
Yeah.
The only reason I remember his name is because it sounds like fajitas. So I think he should go into business doing Theo Paphitis fajitas. That's a investment from me. I'm going on Dragon's Den now. Theo Paphitis fajitas.
Brilliant. Tongue twister in itself. So that covers our first topic of the day. I'm interested to see what you guys think about this. Whether we're undervaluing just the the caliber of games that's going to come to this, because we're kind of unfamiliar with these developers. What you expect from this, maybe we're missing the point. Maybe you'd like to enlighten us. Let us know down in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you're just listening on a podcast on the bus, try not to scream out your opinions.
I'm really into this idea.
What the fuck are you talking about? You know nothing. PGG.
Yeah,
anyway.
Scream a YouTube-style comment, so it's going to be really horrible and aggressive and cancerous.
I'd love that.
The bus.
That would be so good. Like taking this vile vitriol that we have to read in the comments and just making somebody say them in public
to actual people with
other people listening.
Yeah, with the grammatical inaccuracies and stuff as well, and the misspellings.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, moving on. So, in case you hadn't heard, GoG, which is the PC gaming platform by CD Projekt, makers of The Witcher. CD Projekt is the parent company, right? And then CD Projekt Red is the development studio, and then GoG is the gaming platform
studio of CD Projekt Red, essentially. But owned by the same entity.
Yes. So they usually do good stuff. They're a really good company. They know a real pro-consumer feel.
Pro-consumer ethos to the company. They're always about the consumer.
Yeah.
And now with news of GoG Galaxy 2.0. What is it, Henry?
So my immediate thought was Unite the Seven, because that on this Game of Thrones vibe.
I mean, that's it. It's the Game of Thrones week.
Exactly. And essentially they're updating their existing GoG platform, which is just like Steam. It's a launcher. It's a games library. You buy games from there, blah, blah, blah. But the new one, GoG Galaxy 2.0, is going to bring all of your games on all of your launchers into one place. So that's Steam, that's Origin, that's Uplay, that's Epic, that's Windows Store, that's Discord, that's Bethesda Launcher. And I literally do have those written down because I was trying to find 7 so I could make the joke work.
That's really interesting, because that is an ultimate solution to the problem where gamers are like, I like having all my games in one place. I've been playing for Steam for so long, my library is where it is. And then all these other launchers come along. You've got Uplay, you've got Epic now trying to steal some thunder. You've got Origin, you've got GOG you might have used in the past. It's like, well, I don't like having my games in all the other places. GOG got your back, dude.
Yeah.
GOG are on it. They were on it ages ago.
And in all their statements and stuff, they really pitch it as from the perspective of gamers, because over there they are gamers, and it's like, look, I feel like, we've got this problem. We don't like having to launch all of the games we like from different things. I know. Let's fix that problem. We're in a position to fix the problem we're having for other people as well. So the managing director over at GoG, and forgive me for butchering this name, Peter, I think that's how you pronounce that, Peter Karwowski. I'm gonna go with that.
Peter Karwowski. Right.
As gamers, we need to juggle between multiple clients to access our games and see what our friends are playing. We believe gamers deserve a better experience, and this became the driving force to redefine our GoG Galaxy client. GoG Galaxy 2.0 is designed for all gamers and extends well beyond existing GOG.com users into both PC and console platforms.
Interesting.
Which is really interesting. Don't quite know how that's going to work.
We'll stick it on the PlayStation store as well, so you can... I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, one thing, because as you all know, I'm a little console peasant, but even bouncing between Xbox 360 up across generation to PS4 annoyed me that I couldn't share my data. Like if I'm playing Telltale's Walking Dead, played the first one on Xbox 360 and then wanted to get the second one on my PlayStation because obviously it's the next system, but I couldn't carry over my stuff, my decisions and whatnot. And same with The Witcher. I didn't finish it, but I played a good amount of The Witcher 2, and then when I wanted to play The Witcher 3 on PS4, I couldn't transfer my existing decisions, so it was a bit fiddly. But even if that just solves that problem, don't even need to launch everything from everywhere. For me, that's already a win.
It's a win. We believe gamers deserve a better experience. Say what you want about CD Projekt Red, GOG. They've nailed the PR speak.
They really have.
They really know what to say to gamers, because that's exactly what we want to hear. Right, we deserve a better experience. You're absolutely right. They've tapped a nerve here. They've tapped a vein or something, right? And And I feel like this is why I'm particularly excited about this, because it's a reputable company, great esteem in the community, and they're doing something which genuinely could improve a lot of people's experiences.
They're the girl who's had a crush on you forever, but she doesn't like your current girlfriend because she's a bit of a bitch, and it's like, you deserve better. You deserve me. I'll do things she'll never do.
Does she have big knockers?
I mean, I'm trying to find a GOG pun. I can't find one.
Great old gazumbas. I'm sold.
There you go.
I'm in. Done. I'm investing.
Win.
There's
Tick.
some of my money.
Moving to Poland. So on their page where they announced it, they've got a list of features to expect when it launches. And I don't think we've got a launch window at the moment. They've just sort of announced it.
Well, it's in private beta right now, and you can sign up, go into the website and sign up for it. I have with all 3 of my YouTube email accounts that I use. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get dibs on it and check it out before everyone else.
So first up, it's your games. Import all of your games from PC and consoles, build and organize them into one master collection, install and launch any PC game you own, no matter the platform. Yes. Awesome. That's it in a nutshell.
Yes.
Keep track of all your achievements, hours played, and games owned. Customize your library by filtering, sorting, tagging, and adding your own visuals like game backgrounds and covers.
Just 1 sec. Keep track of all your achievements. So any achievements you got on Steam, you think like Steam. You if you appreciate that feature in Steam, you play it, you get achievements. It's like, I can brag with my friends. It's like, this is how many achievements I've got. What have you got, scrub? Then you can carry them with you to this new GOG launch. It sounds cool if that's if you're into that.
And I think getting all the achievements is really popular in consoles for like platinuming something is quite an accolade. A lot of people.
It's the same with Steam in the Steam store. Like
I haven't platinumed anything. I don't think.
Yeah. No. Not even Spider-Man, no?
No, there's a few games where I'm like, I'd love to platinum this, and then something else comes along and I've got to play that instead. Follow upcoming releases and discover games popular among your friends and the gaming community. So that's all the social stuff which people really praise Steam for its connectivity with people, and where Epic is severely lacking. Next up is your friends. Bring together your friends from all platforms and see their online status. Now, I don't know if that necessarily means cross-play, but at least you'll be able to chat with them, I guess, and see what's what, see where people are.
You'll be able to see whether they're logged into Steam, whether they're playing on Epic Store or on Uplay or whatever. If that's a feature where you can do, you don't have to have 5 launches running to see where your friends are. You can just do it from GOG. That's another selling point.
And part of the reason Discord exists is to be a chat client between all of these different ones.
True.
And then if GOG have Discord in there as well, they've got all of them together using all that existing tech. So next up, no matter on which platform your friends are, you can chat with them, see your friends' cross-platform achievements, game time milestones, and recently played games. See who's the master collector, completionist, or spends the most time playing. So if you're proud of your 600-hour campaign on Skyrim, everyone can know.
Yeah, it's a new feature to GOG as far as I know, but if this is that, it's a common feature for Steam. Like, it's there, it's already there, it's already been there, but they're bringing this into GOG and they're collating all these other launches too. So you can find, it's just having a nice tidy place to see this. So that's nothing groundbreaking really in terms of what you can see, what information you can see, but the fact that it's there in one place with all the other launches as well. That's what's pretty...
It's convenient more than anything.
Yeah.
It's bringing everything together just to make it better for you as the user. Next up is your privacy, which is always quite a touchy one, especially when it comes to the Epic Store. There's a lot of concerns around that. Your personal data will never be shared with third parties. We're not spying on data from your computer. With a single click, you can remove imported games and friends' data from our servers. So there you go. It's saying we're not going to do anything malicious with it, and if you want to take it away, you can do it super easy.
Yeah.
With that sort of stuff, you do kind of have to hold them at their word. But
true, it can be corroborated. They can check on this. Like if someone's familiar with back-end software, they can check what exactly this software is doing on your computer and what information it's checking and stuff. Which is why kind of Epic got into trouble, because somebody spotted that it was looking at Steam files or whatever. But this is great. Not only are they giving you reassurance that they're not spying on you and the data won't be shared with third parties, which is, always a good thing. They're giving you the option at any point you can remove imported games and friends data from their servers. Yep. So if you want to back out, if you think, well, you've got too much info, I want it away from there. This is great. This is exactly what the reassurance that people need. If at any point you want to wipe the slate clean and you don't want us to have your info, you can do that. You can click the button, and maybe Facebook can learn a few lessons from this, because that's the worst security and privacy of anywhere in the bloody internet.
I mean, if you're using Facebook, you've basically conceded all of your life, your firstborn, your car.
Yeah,
it's all gone away. So next up, your GOG client. All new library management and friends features take your experience to the next level. The best way to run and update your GOG games, use features like cloud saving, in-game overlay, multiplayer, and matchmaking rollbacks and more. The client is not required to play your DRM-free GOG games. So it's just going to be the better version of what they've already got on top of all of the connective stuff. And my favourite section, more.
Not just that.
But wait, there's more. Connect more platforms and add new features with open source integrations. Not entirely sure what that means. It's a bit too techie for my simple brain.
So it's basically anyone who makes mods or whatever, open source integrations, and anything that's open source you can connect. So it's like a bit like Discord, bots and shit, I'm guessing. Connect more platforms and add new features. So you can customize it. Like if anyone's made a modification like Discord. So this is kind of trying to outdo Discord in a way, I guess, because Discord's got so many different bots that you can use to to have a really good fun experience. You can do all sorts with Discord and the bots in there.
Groovy. All customizations and changes to your library are saved in the cloud and synced between all your devices. So that sounds cool. If you make it look one way on your desktop, it'll look the same on your laptop, which is super handy. Save any view like a customized library or favorite games and friends to access them instantly. So again, it's all your personal UI customizations, and because it said something earlier about putting backgrounds and stuff on. Yeah. If you want to make it look pretty, you can.
Nothing good comes out of any sort of competition in the marketplace, right? That's what people say. Oh, Epic Store are just crushing competition, and Steam is just like monopolizing things, and Epic Store are they're just gonna do monopolize, and it's not fair. This is what competition does, man. It makes people think on their toes and offer something that the others don't, right? GOG, I've spotted the inside track. I've seen the wood for the trees and thought, well, we can offer people something that everyone's screaming out for, and answer all these complaints, and maybe take this opportunity to increase our market share by offering some awesome features that gamers are just screaming out for. I think this is awesome what they're doing and what they're trying to do. I don't know how it's going to pan out. Maybe it doesn't work the way that they want it to, especially to begin with. They're definitely working on it a lot faster than Epic. Epic Store, they've got this roadmap. Oh yeah, it's going to take us 6 months to do this, 6 months to do that. I don't know how long it's going to be to integrate this.
Do
or
it.
Whatever. With all their resources, you'd have thought that they'd have improved their store by now.
Get a man in.
But GOG, man, I just like this company. I mean, obviously I'm biased. I like the chilling it up to the max. But I like CD Projekt for the right reasons. They do things in the right way, and they say things that gamers want to hear. If I really, really hope that this does well, more than Epic Store, more than Steam. I really, really hope they do well because they deserve it. I think the more companies in the industry like CD Projekt, who have the gamers' minds, have gamers, are honest with the gamers and have their intentions.
Yeah, because it's made by gamers for gamers.
Yeah.
Because isn't it in their history, they were just, when they formed the company, they were just a couple of guys, didn't really know anything about it, about the tech side, so they went away and learned it, and formed the company based on that. They made themselves, they've crafted themselves to fit into what they wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's awesome. I hope this goes well.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our thoughts and feelings. Obviously, we're very biased towards GoG because we like them, and we're not going to hide that fact. So good luck to GoG, and let's hope this takes off, and hopefully it comes to market just in the right time and takes builds up momentum, and maybe knocks shakes it up a little bit.
Yeah,
because everyone's talking about Epic, everyone's talking about Steam. And GoG, I feel, don't get enough praise because they are a consumer-focused store, and there's zero DRM on any of the games that they sell. They do a lot of a curated store, you should say. So they don't just throw any old shit on their store, and they do well. So
when Steam isn't doing anything and Epic isn't doing anything, GoG steps up and they do what everyone's wanted.
That's it.
Good boys.
This is what we need more of in the industry.
That is true. All right, what's up next?
What is up next is hair physics. As if hair physics hadn't gone too far already. And it's something that I've said before in the past. It's like hair physics is so... It's like, what's with hair physics? Like, every game's got these flowy hairs. Like, there's air conditioning in all the rooms or whatever, and the hair just looks like it's blowing everywhere because it's all loose and light, and like, also, it's the new thing in the industry. Everyone wants awesome hair. Well, EA have released a short video showing off their rendering capabilities for the next gen, demonstrating how their Frostbite engine can render hair. But so they're trying to prove a point. Look, your hair is not as good as our hair. Look at our hair. EA flopping that big D and like a pissing contest.
Well, I saw the first article I glanced over. I didn't read it. I just saw it like on my way to work. Was from Eurogamer, and it really annoyed me because their headline was exactly the words that I was thinking. It was something like maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Frostbite instead of Maybelline, and I was like, see, there you go, because it was a great brand slogan anyway. So
this is Frostbite showing us what they're going to be doing with hair in the next generation. And Frostbite, for those of you who don't know, is EA's own game engine. Was originally used on the Battlefield games, but they've more recently used it extensively on most of their games of late. It was Patrick Soderlund who had the mandate when he was in charge. He's not there anymore. He's in charge of all the studios. He said, right, we have to use the Frostbite engine from now on because we're paying too much in royalties to Unreal Engine or whatever engine. You got to pay a license fee for those other engines. So we've got our own engine. Let's use this. It looks pretty. Look at it. Battlefield looks pretty. Let's use it for all our engines. Unfortunately, it caused an unknown amount of problems, especially more notably with Anthem's development, trying to use this trying to make this third-person open-world action game from a first-person shooter engine, and that was one of the reasons why they cited why it didn't do so well, because they had issues using that engine.
Everyone hates it unless you're making a first-person shooter.
Yeah,
and it does make very pretty first-person shooters.
It's very good looking.
Yeah.
So Apex Legends were the biggest success from that I can think in recent memory. One of the EA's biggest games that didn't even use the Frostbite engine. They used Source Engine, and also Respawn developed dates to Apex. They're also making Jedi Fallen Order, and that will use Unreal Engine. So lucky Patrick Soderlund didn't have the company anymore because he wouldn't like that. But still, they're making a single-player game, and they're not using the Frostbite engine. What does that tell you?
Everyone hates our engine, but look at our hair. Rapunzel, let down your hair.
There's so many problems with the Frostbite engine, but it does. You look at the hair, oh my god, it looks good, right?
It's good. It's still not quite right. But damn, it does look good.
It looks impressive. It looks like, wow, that is generated. Like,
you can really see there's so much going on behind the scenes.
Whether they can render that as is during a game, or whether that's pre-rendered and it's taking a while to process, we don't know just yet. It's just a few images, but it is exciting to see how they're trying to push the technology on that side, and you can't take that away. It looks great, right? And if they're trying to, even though the mannequin is scary as hell, oh my god, it's scary. The hair looks good, okay, but hold your horses. isn't this just EA doing what they do and focusing too much on how things look rather than focusing on how games should play and what's enjoyable about a game? Isn't this just them prioritizing style over substance?
Yeah, that's what it really seems like to me. If they were making a game where like the hair is actually important, like Bayonetta was the first example I think of, because her hair, it's like her weapon, it's the source of her power, her clothes are made of her hair, and that's where all her stuff comes from. If that was the game and you're putting all your hair tech into that, okay, I get it, because it links to the character and the plot and blah, blah, blah. Or a Rapunzel, where her hair is obviously really important to that story.
Game.
I mean, exactly. I mean, how fun would that be?
Disney and Disney.
Throw your hair down the thing, pull it up, job done. Game over.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Hair game. Unfortunately, EA are not known for Rapunzel games or Bayonetta games. They are known for FIFA games.
Yeah.
Like, how important is this going to be in a FIFA game? I mean, Ronaldo hasn't got long hair. Maybe Messi, maybe in his younger years when
maybe they're about to unveil the female football version of FIFA. That was a lot of F's.
That's it.
And they can all have this fabulous hair now.
Yeah.
And just copy over the same the animations and stuff from regular FIFA. And in the female one, they'll just have all this pretty hair.
Yeah. Another thing, how much rendering capacity does this take up? Can they achieve this in-game with other things going on at the same time? This is just a mannequin with no face. Like awesome flowy hair. Yeah, they've all these like individual strands of hair moving independently. Like it's got no weight for one. Like I mean, my only question is, who in the real world has hair like that? No, I thought it'd gone far enough with things like Spider-Man was like Aunt May's hair in Spider-Man is just like blows around all the time, and it's like nobody has hair like that. Hair has weight, it's weighed down. It's like you'd spend so long getting hair like that if you were a woman. Maybe women appreciate this because they want hair like this, right? Maybe
this is hair they can dream for. This unrealistic body standards, that's what it is. It's like the skinny waist, big boobs, big butts women and the men who are giant triangles in video games.
Come on, EA, you're better than this.
You're conforming to your industry malpractice.
I don't see that this is going to add to my gameplay experience in any meaningful way at all. It'll look a little bit prettier, but come on, EA, you should be focusing on making games better and showing off what you're doing in terms of innovating gameplay and not just focusing on how things look, because this is just symptomatic of the issues that you have as a game developer right now, that you just don't focus on the gameplay. You're focusing too much on visuals and using that to sell your games and just to try and get some other people to buy loot boxes and bullshit like that.
I mean, if EA were doing a heavily story-driven, hyper-realistic, minimal gameplay game like, say, a David Cage game like Detroit Become Human, because that's gameplay light, because it's a lot of walking, a lot of talking to people, and it's meant to be super close to reality. If they were making that kind of game, I could be like, okay, because then your goal is to make something as realistic as possible, like first. But you make FIFA, which is a football game, so that's gameplay, and you make first-person shooters, which are shooting games.
The Sims, you make Apex, games like Apex, which this isn't going to even,
it means nothing to them.
It's a lot of the best, most successful games from EA are not even the most realistic-looking ones. I don't know. Maybe we're just jumping. We're going too far with this. Maybe. Well, I mean, let us know what you think. Maybe we're just taking it to an extreme because this is just one thing that they're working on. Maybe they are working on innovations in gameplay as well alongside this. But I just feel like this is just EA doing wrong what they normally do wrong. But
it does look cool, but do we really need it?
I don't need it. I seriously don't. So many games that don't have any hair at all that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But there you go. People are getting excited. People are salivating. Catwalk Simulator 2020. Look out.
I want forget hair physics. I want beard physics on Kratos, because he doesn't have any hair. He's just got a beard.
Yeah.
Although in Red Dead that was really weird. When you grow your beard really long, it just goes. It's really odd.
It's weird because there's an example of them just trying to go too far with making things look good and look realistic, where they go so far over the edge that it's just not realistic at all. And like whose beard blows in the wind like that?
Beard hair's way thicker than regular hair. and it binds and it holds. No.
Anyway, that's our rant over with. That's our EA rant for the week. Done.
We just don't like hair. That's what it is. We're prejudiced against hair.
Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments. Or shout it on the bus, whatever. Let's move on to the Discord questions. I've not read any of these. I've
had a glance over some of them. Some were I had to really rack my brain over it, and I still haven't found an answer. So I'll be thinking on the spot.
We've got the Game of Thrones. We've got a Game of Thrones question in there. So when we get to the Game of Thrones question, we'll do our Game of Thrones segment and talk about it. And then I'll make sure that I do a timestamp for you so you can skip it if you like.
Okay, first up from Cloney99, regular contributor, good lad. My situation today inspires me to two questions that are closely related. Basically, it's an adjective. No, basically, it's an adjective changed. Okay, gotcha. I'm with you. What game is your go-to if you are depressed, or what other activity? Example, Gaz, music. And then the other one, what is your go-to activity when you're tired but need to stay awake for some reason? For example, fixing your sleeping pattern after jet lag. So what game or activity do you do when you're depressed? I don't game if I'm in a bad mood, because it puts me in a worse mood because I'm not performing right. I'll be playing and something will go wrong and it will fucking infuriate me. Yeah. But my go-to thing if I am down is to watch the movie Airplane. Have you seen Airplane?
Airplane's awesome.
It's one of my favourite films, and it is my absolute pick-me-up movie because it's just so funny.
I saw it so long ago. I must have been really young. Is it like what where he drinks and he spills it all down?
He's got a drinking problem, and most people assume that means you drink alcohol, but no, he just pours it down his face.
Funny.
It's so funny because it's so stupid, and it's in a lot of comedies. There's here's the bit where you laugh, and then here's a bit of characters talking, and then here's another bit where you laugh. Airplane, it's just rolling through.
It's the guy
There's so many gags.
Guy of Naked Gun, isn't it?
Yeah, whose name escapes me. Yeah, he's in loads of stuff. Don't call me Shirley. God, it's so funny. Shirley, I love Airplane so much.
Just cheesy jokes. It's good. It's really good. Depressed. I tend to just exercise when I'm depressed because it gets your endorphins going, gets your serotonin high, and kicks out all the bullshit in your system, which causes depression, right? Gaming, staring at a screen isn't anything that solves any of that for me. So I go for a walk, or I lift some weights or something, get my heart pumping, and I generally feel better. So I don't tend to game. Music, I've been known to use that as an outlet in the past. Play the guitar a lot to get, as a kid growing up and that. Yeah, I mean, what else have you got? You sat in your bedroom playing the guitar. That's a decent outlet.
I listen to a lot of music, but not necessarily when I'm depressed, but because I end up listening to depressing songs all the time anyway, like when I'm not depressed. Because I live on shuffle the whole time. I very rarely listen to an actual album. And I like to think my music taste is quite eclectic, but it's generally rooted in rock and heavy music. So I'll go from some pretty heavy stuff, and then out of nowhere there'll be, what's his face, the new guy, he was number one for ages, Lewis Capaldi. I quite like his main song, and that will come on, and I'll just be like, this is a good bloody song, and this is really depressing, and I'm into it. I'll just be on the train, normal day.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a couple. I don't think I have them anymore. I think I had them on my iTunes, but I've moved to Spotify more now. But I definitely had my depressing playlists. Yeah. Here's all the slow, sad acoustic songs about breakups and stuff.
Yeah. And the other part of the question, what's your go-to when you're tired but need to stay awake for some reason to fix jet lag? I play them. Generally, it'd be a Nintendo Switch or something. I don't tend to revisit games, so I'd find a new game. It'd probably be a survival game of sorts, although there's not enough of those on the Nintendo Switch, or an RPG, like I play Skyrim or something, or a strategy game. I used City Skyline to play when I was traveling recently. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. See, I would say to stay awake, I would probably game, but then there gets to a point where I'm falling asleep while playing. I've heard that happen several times. I never do that. Because generally when I game, I'm reclined on my bed or on a sofa or something, not at a desk. So I'm super relaxed and comfy. So then when I start grogging off, I'll either go to sleep, but if I need to stay awake, then I just have to sugar myself a bit and then carry on. But it'll be like an action heavy game, like a shooter.
There you go. Let us know what things to deal with depression or deal with tiredness or what your go-to games are down in the comments, because I'm interested to see if people do use gaming. I'm pretty sure that it's one of the ways that people do deal with problems, issues.
It's escapism at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, each to their own. Anyway, moving on. Vienticus Prime, 2 questions. I just saw you answering the arcade game question. What about pinball game? Did you play a lot of pinball?
I love pinball, and I can't believe I didn't think of it, but I'd love to own a pinball cabinet just in my house.
Yeah.
Just to play a few rounds, move on.
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome.
I watched a recent Jablinski Games where he went to everyone knows what I'm talking about if they're fans of the show. There's Jack Black's YouTube channel. It's the best channel on YouTube, full stop. Go and check it out.
We're a close second, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't consider us. Yeah, Jablinski Games the second, I'd say. Anyway, he went to this pinball arcade, and there's just rows and rows of pinball machines, and it looked awesome. But unfortunately, I've never been into... I mean, it's good, but I'd never go and choose to play a game of pinball. I used to play a lot on the Commodore Amiga. When I used to have Commodore Amiga, there was this Pinball Wizard or something it was called, and we used to play that. We used to use the shift keys for the thing. That's as far as my pinball
There's something about the pinball sounds of it flicking the things and jinking and jangling that's... You hear it and you're like, that's a pinball game.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what version it is, because you get Star Wars ones, you get Batman ones,
all sorts.
Any franchise, there's a pinball version of it. But I'd love a pinball cabinet. That's a really good answer. I should have thought of that.
And the second part of the question: what's the oldest and/or most obscure game you've ever played a significant amount of? For a frame of reference, my favourite game of all time is Dungeons and Dragons: Treasures of Tarmin for the Mattel Aquarius, followed by Pigskin 612 AD. I'm just going to assume that those are real things and not think too much of it. What is your oldest and most obscure game you've ever played a significant amount of time of?
Oh, I really don't know. I know there's some, but I just can't think. There's one. It's essentially a Final Fantasy rip-off. I think it was either on the PS1 or the Dreamcast. Played it at my dad's house because my stepbrother had a Dreamcast, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. But it was exactly the same as Final Fantasy, turn-based, very anime-esque, around the same sort of era. And there was this one character who you didn't have to get. If you turned a certain corner, you'd meet him, and he'd then join your party. But you could just avoid him. And I think he had a big pink arm robot thing. And we played loads of that, but I don't think we ever got very far because we always just kept getting stuck and didn't carry on. But we played loads of that opening, but I can't for life of me remember what it was called.
The most obscure game I ever played a significant amount of time, it was when I was in school, right? You used to have BBCs. I mean, is it a BBC? It's just an old gaming device. Is it a BBC? God. Gaming system.
No idea what you're on about.
Is it God Almighty?
What is it, like a computer type
Yeah, that's
thing?
a BBC Micro. So we had them in school, right?
Yeah. I've never
and there was this game on it called it was something like a Lemonade Tycoon, but it was text based.
Okay.
And it was so weird but awesome at the same time.
Lemonade Tycoon.
It wasn't a Lemonade Tycoon because that's probably something different, but it was like that where you made business decisions about buying crops or farming crops of lemonade and then turning a profit on it. And I thought that was awesome for the time because it's on this old computer device. I used to like that. So that was the most oldest, but the most obscure game that I spent too much time on, I can't for the life of me remember what it's called now. But there's this game on the Nintendo Switch which I can't. Can you fill for a couple of seconds?
Yeah, you can look for it. There's one which I thought was obscure, but now, since YouTube has become a thing and I've been able to go into the wider gaming community over the last 10 years or whatever, is the Oddworld games, Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus. I thought they were super, super niche. No one played them. No one I knew growing up played them.
Yeah.
But then they've got a massive cult following, and I'm well up for the new one, Soulstorm. No idea what it's going to be like, but the new gameplay looks so much like classic Oddworld, but with a few little modernizations. Yeah, there's loads of games I've got like that, like Medieval as well. No one I knew played it. I don't think I finished Medieval either. But yeah, no one I knew played those games. But now I see that they have massive followings.
Yeah.
Have you had any luck?
No, I failed to find the game that I'm looking for. It's just a simple top-down space twin stick shooter, but also it's one of these tap games where you just got to collect loads of money. The more it's a really, really bad game, but I spent way too much time on it. Unfortunately, I can't remember it. But that's probably for the best, so that you don't check it out and get obsessed with it like I did.
Don't waste your life.
True. Now, we're going to talk about Game of Thrones now. So for those of you who don't want to discuss Game of Thrones, there'll be a link in the description to pick up the questions again. But this next question is Game of Thrones related, and we're going to go into what happened in the...
spoiler warning hard.
Yeah, this is the Game of Thrones discussion.
From Lochgar. Now that the Game of Thrones finale has come and gone, what are your thoughts on the final season and the petition going around for a remake? And we sort of took the piss out of it a little bit in an earlier video this week about the petition to remake it. I think that petition's bloody stupid.
Before we jump into our opinions, right? Let's just preface this with we understand Game of Thrones is very appealing in so many levels, right? And people get out of it a very personal experience, right? So many people might like Game of Thrones for different reasons. People might like the action, people might like the love interest, people might like the characters or whatever, right? So for all these different people who feel different appeals to the show, they will react differently depending on how the ending finished for them. I understand people who might have loved certain aspect of the show, feeling that they were unfulfilled with the ending. I get that. I totally get that. For me, personally, I felt like the ending was sufficient. I thought it was reasonable. I thought the Game of Thrones has always been about the characters for me, and how the characters all have an inner conflict. That is it, right? And that's what makes it so interesting. The way that they play off one another, they're vying for power, but they've all got conflicting motivations within themselves, right? And this is epitomized by Jaime Lannister's decision to go back to Cersei at the end. He's always been in love with Cersei, but there's a side of him that also wants to do good and be a good person. Now, they explored that, and he explored that, but his arc didn't quite come to fulfillment. I don't get that at all, because he's always been conflicted inside. He's always had that side of him that's loved Cersei, and he came into the world with Cersei because they're twins. They've loved each other from day one, and for them to go out together like they did, for me, it completes Jaime, right? That's what Jaime was supposed to do, because his struggle was the story, not his completing the arc. So I feel that Jaime Lannister was fine. I feel like Cersei's ending was fine. She was a bit of a non-entity in the final season, but the fact that Tyrion, I think the reason they got crushed under the rocks, I'm going off on a random tangent here, but the reason that they were crushed under the rocks is so that Tyrion could find them and have that scene where he was crying, right? Yeah. That whole thing happened just so that's set up. So I understand why they did that and why Cersei's ending wasn't as brutal as we wanted it to be. But, it fits in fine for me. So I love the characters. I always have to. The ending with all the Starks getting their power in their own little way, with Bran being on the throne, with Sansa being the Queen of the North, and then Jon being the King Beyond the Wall, as well as Arya going away and leading her own expedition out into the west of Westeros. I think it was fine. I think. So, but saying that, this petition to get them to change a bit of art, this is what's in debate here. Yeah. I think that's a little bit entitled.
Yes. So I don't love what they've done with the new series. To put it quickly, all of the things that happened, essentially, I'm fine with. I've some grievances with certain things, but most of it comes down to the fact that the whole thing's been rushed.
Yeah.
The last two seasons, particularly this one, it's super, super rushed. Jaime going back to Cersei, I'm fine with it because it does flip-flop with him and his character being like that, but it happened so abruptly, and it's such a heel turn that because it's so rushed, it kind of discounts all of the excellent character work in both directions that's already happened, and he's just gone back to where he started, not having learned anything as a character, and ultimately come to the conclusion that he does still love her. But that's because they've rushed it. Like, I know what they're trying to get at, but for me it didn't land because it's been so quick and fast.
Yeah, and that's definitely a criticism of the show the last couple of seasons, for sure. Since Daenerys got to Westeros, for sure, they've rushed the fuck out of it. Like, armies appearing the east coast, west coast, jumping all around.
Just fucking in out,
shake it all about. Yeah, fast traveling.
Yeah.
In the same episode, in consecutive scenes, it's just like, this isn't how it should be done. You spent 5 or 6 seasons with Daenerys in Essos, and then the season she gets to Westeros, oh my god, she's like a fucking...
Yeah. Now, you have every right to fucking hate the series. Every right to think it's absolute twaddle. And I have every right to disagree, and I have every right to agree. But joining a petition and demanding that it be changed. I mean, no one signs this petition thinking anything's actually going to happen. Mm-hmm. No one actually believes that they're going to rewrite it.
You would be surprised.
Well, that's true.
Some people might.
But it is super entitled that you think the show owes you anything.
This is the problem. The problem for me is that this is art. Whether you like it or not, this is a creation by a creator, and this is their vision of something, right? You followed it for so long, and because one character didn't fulfill their potential that you thought it was going to, because Daenerys turned into a crazy lunatic, and you didn't want that for her because you named your child Danny or whatever, you're going to get so upset with these creators. Like, would you, I mean, think of any other art, like, would you... Would you petition some, like, a painting because the painter, like, finished it off with a really weird color that he didn't like?
No. So he chose that.
In what gives you the right to think that you own any of this show enough so that your demands should be met in this way?
And I quite enjoy fan rewrites on YouTube and stuff of certain things but when they're done, like, respectfully, it's like, the show's done it like this. I would personally do it like this because I really like cover songs.
Yeah.
Because they don't delete the original, they take it and do something different with it. Yeah, it's an interpretation.
I get. I mean, people might come back at me at what I just said then and say, "Well, we're fine with the story how it ended, but we just don't like how they did it. We don't like how they told the story because the books when the books weren't there for source material." D&D just didn't do it justice, and they couldn't write it as well because the books weren't there. They need to write it better. I kind of get that, but still, it's their prerogative, right?
Yeah.
They're getting paid to do this job, and you're basically undervaluing everything that they've done. Game of Thrones is still an awesome show. I mean, I've had issues with shows. Final seasons in the past. Sons of Anarchy, for example. I really hated that last season. I think that you could have scrubbed that whole last season and what happened and how the characters just didn't make sense to me, like in terms of what the characters decided. And the whole primary motivation, Jax, for example, his whole primary motivation throughout the whole of the first however many seasons was to avoid being like his dad. And lo and behold, spoiler alert, he does what his dad did. So I thought that was completely ridiculous, right? It doesn't make any sense what he did, considering he had a son. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I still love that show no matter what. That show is one of the best shows ever. And, you know, there's people can cite other shows that they don't like the ending of. Lost, don't like the ending of Dexter or whatever, Dexter. And there's like How I Met Your Mother didn't end well because it wasn't about How I Met Your Mother. It was How I Met, like, what's her name? Robin.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're entitled to feel how you feel. I'm not saying that you're not. But it's the creator's prerogative to tell the story that they want to tell in the way that they want, right? Had this show been from 10 years ago and they'd have written it already and they've produced it and you'd only just watched it now, would you still feel the same? Exactly. It is the way it is. You can't change it. So I just feel it's like internet culture these days, isn't it? It's that it doesn't matter how other people do things. It's my feelings are most important. My feelings are the most important thing, and damn it, I'm going to sign a petition.
It's the exact same thing as the Sekiro debate a few weeks ago. You have every right to say, I don't like it, it is too hard, I don't like it, it's not very fun. You have no right to tell them to change it. to demand they change it.
Yeah.
You can say, I would have enjoyed it more if they did it like this. Yeah. Fine, absolutely fine. I would enjoy Sekiro more if it was easy. I mean, I've not played it, but I can it's a, conjecture. But you can't just say they have to make it easier because I didn't like it.
Would you petition YouTubers to change the end of their videos because they didn't like their conclusions? Exactly. Would you petition us to change our opinions because you didn't like our opinions?
Don't give them ideas.
Come on, guys. Let other people
500,000 signatures on
let other people have their freedom. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing it to make a point to D&D. What point that's going to make to them, and what they're going to change because
they've still got paid. They don't care. They're still getting the Star Wars deal.
They want to move on to other things. They want to go and butcher Star Wars.
No, well, I mean, it's already been butchered. But that's the thing. Star Wars, Last Jedi sucked in my opinion. I had loads of problems with it. I quite liked Force Awakens. I have lots of problems with it, but I enjoyed it. Doesn't matter if all of the other ones are terrible, because I've still got the original 3, in particular Empire. I think Empire Strikes Back is one of possibly my favourite film ever.
Wow. Big words.
I love it. And it doesn't matter if all the other ones are shit, because I've still got that one.
Yeah.
Season 4 of Game of Thrones is my favourite.
Yeah.
But
isn't it coincidental, though, that the amount of boobs shown in the show has gone down at the same rate as the popularity of it?
And the quality,
The quality. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you, D&D? You take away the boobs, you take away people's appreciation. That's all I'm saying.
Does this mean we're getting boobs in Star Wars? But then again, in The Last Jedi, we got that big alien titty, which he gets the milk from at the beginning, and it was so like, what is this? Oh man, don't give me that. Give me
you took away
titties or something.
When you take away a game of boobs, you're in trouble. Me and the wife used to always play a game of boobs. Every time we sat down to an episode, we used to have a guess. Each of us used to put our bet in as to what the timestamp would be when the boobs would be shown. And lo and behold, I used to always win. But when a game of boobs died, so did Game of Thrones. That's all I'm saying.
That's it. When you play the game of boobs, you win or you die.
On that note, let's we
could talk forever about Game of Thrones,
man.
This is a gaming podcast.
I would say it's the best TV show ever made, the best story ever told, I'll say, because the books are so much better than the show. And if you're not happy with the show, my character didn't do this because the character that portrayed in the show wouldn't have made these decisions. The characters in the books are so much deeper, and it conveys the motivations, because this first person's perspective in each chapter is from a different person's perspective,
and they're massive.
You get into their heads and you understand why they're doing what they do. Daenerys is not a nice woman in the books. She isn't as nice as she's portrayed. She's not all this gleaming. She's killed people for
her going to the Mad Queen. I'm completely fine with it. Just happened super fucking fast.
Yeah,
and it does make sense that she goes a bit berserk because she lost her 2 closest advisors and friends to keep her in line. What else is she going to do? She's let off the chain.
It just sounds like we're justifying now because we enjoyed it, but like we say,
I'm not even sure I did. I'm thinking about it, like
we just don't want people to be.
I refuse to accept that it was bad.
Yeah.
You may not have liked it, but I don't think it was bad because in terms of filmmaking and cinema, cinematography, it was beautifully shot, beautifully scored.
Yeah,
it's excellent to.
They subverted our expectations. What would you want? Like a Hollywood ending? Would you want Dany on the throne with Jon and having babies together? Is that what you want? I think personally that people are just too. I'm going on a rant again. They're just too used to happy endings, and I think that this is more of like a Shakespearean ending, where it's more of a tragedy in the end. It's like nobody gets really what they want, apart from Sansa, because she's fucking laughing, right?
But she's had an absolute.
She's had a mare, but she's come through, right?
Yeah, when they're like, "Oh, we'll all join the Seven Kingdoms," and she's like, "No."
I love that. I love that a show doesn't want to give you what you want, and some of my favorite films ever have had bad endings. I remember the film called Butterfly Effect, right? I watched that in a cinema and it had a happy ending, and I was like, oh great. I watched the director's cut on DVD, and that ending is the fucking best. He kills himself. He kills himself at the end to spare the loves of his life any
Loads of people hate that movie.
He goes back in time, right? Goes back in time, kills himself in the womb so that he didn't have to be born and cause everyone else all the shit that he generates by being alive. It's poetic. It's awesome. It's the best ending. He dies. The protagonist dies. It's ace. Don't tell me that's not a happy ending. I don't care how many time you're smiling. That's the best ending. And it's the same for Game of Thrones, I feel like. The more I think about it, the more I appreciate it. At the time, it didn't feel great, and that's the.
Yeah.
I think that is the problem with people watching it, thinking that doesn't make me feel good, therefore I don't like it.
It's not really supposed to. Like watching a movie, a horrendously depressing movie like Schindler's List. You're not meant to feel good watching that. You're meant to feel, fuck, this was awful.
Yeah. What
these people had to go through, and you're supposed to get a fraction of that through watching it.
Have we stopped talking about Game of Thrones?
Yeah, we need to move on and stop talking.
We would carry on forever, but
Game of Thrones dedicated podcast.
Yeah, so
pretty good Game of Thrones.
And with that said, Game of Thrones is over, and so is our discussion of Game of Thrones. We're going to move on with our lives, and so should you.
Thank goodness.
The next question is from Cloney99. Related to the last question. When was the last time you stayed up for more than 24 hours for, let's say, fixing your sleeping cycle, jet lag or some other risky reason? I am expecting a drunk Henry story. I'm feeling it's getting harder with every year. Turning 25. You old bastard. Turning 25 in a few months. Damn, my back starts aching. My teeth fall out. You need to drink more milk, dude. Life is basically over. I stayed up for 24 hours. When I went to Florida recently, but that was out of necessity, I guess. Up at 6 a.m. and then went to bed. When I got there, 8 hours difference. It was a long day that day, but it was only because I was traveling. I don't stay up for 24 hours. I mean, you think you're old, 25, man. I'm not going to even tell you how old I am.
I can't remember the last time it was 24 hours. But the most recent one, if you're looking for a drunk story, I wasn't even that drunk, but I'll get to it. I probably got home at about 4 a.m., probably went to bed at about 5, and it was a Friday, and so Friday I would have been here in the morning, which means having gotten up at 6:30. So that's
22 and a half.
It's a pretty long, and with heavy drinking and yeah. I feel like the only reason I ended up staying up that late was because we went to McDonald's, and started to head home. Me and a couple of the guys and one of their girlfriends, we started heading home. Somehow they went one way and me and one of the guys' girlfriends went the other way. My God, that was one of the longest fucking walks of my life. The girl did not shut up. She definitely has a lot of insecurities about stuff, and I'm like, I don't know you. I'm not the person to help. All I can say is,
I don't care.
It wasn't even that. I was just like, I mean, he's a great guy. I like him. What you got to worry? He's not playing away or anything like that. So that was a long ass walk.
Poor girl.
While covered in McDonald's, like literally holding a baby of McDonald's with this girl. Finally dumped her at my mate's house where I could then pick up my my bag, and I was like, she's your problem now. I'm out.
Yeah.
Started walking home. I wasn't really. I was slightly north of tipsy, but I don't think I was drunk. I certainly wasn't pissed. So I'm walking along and I try and plug my earphones into my phone and then put them in while holding all this McDonald's and my phone, and I dropped my phone. And I've never smashed a phone before, and that was the first time, and it just went. It didn't blow up, but like all the way across. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's that. If you can make out, which I doubt it.
Focus, yeah. No, you can't see that.
So that properly wrecked it, and I wasn't even mad. I was like, I deserve this. This is my fault. I should have put stuff down. I shouldn't have tried to be clever and be like, oh, I can hold everything. Look at me. And it wanked it.
Well, I've got 2 young daughters, right? And staying up for 24 hours is not a family thing to do, right? So my opportunity or desire to do that, I guess, has waned throughout my life. But I used to stay up 24 hours. I used to work night shifts in a factory before I started doing YouTube. So it was weekend night shifts. I'd work a Friday night, but I'd get up at maybe 7, 8 in the morning on the Friday morning, go that day, work all night for 12 hours from 6 to 6, get home at 7, go to bed at like 7:30. So that was probably the last time that I would say that I stayed up for 24 hours routinely, like pretty much every week. It was an absolute killer, and which is why I put so much effort into doing YouTube for a living. And it worked, yay. But anyway, there we go. 25, getting old, man. Fucking hell, life is basically over.
Don't think like that. Go out.
How old are you? 23.
Yeah, I'm 23. And see, 22.
A couple of years left.
22 sounds fine, but 23 does sound old.
Fucking hell, man.
All right, ancient old man. You know what I learned the other day? That Troy Baker, the voice actor, he's like 43.
He looks younger than that.
He looks super young.
Yeah. But there you go. Let's move on to a different question that doesn't involve my age.
This is from I'm going to say Mikhail. Yeah.
Mikhail.
Hi, Akaz. Was wondering, do you get a slice of the pie when people watch with the no ads YouTube Premium?
Mikhail, we do actually. It's part of the breakdown that you've got on the analytics at YouTube, is that they break down how much money we get from AdSense and also how much money we get from, let's have a look at this, from YouTube Red subscribers, and it's in a different kind of category. So currently, I won't tell you exactly what the numbers are because you're in a good mood. I won't depress you too much, but we're making approximately just under a quarter of the revenue from YouTube Premium than we do the ad revenue, which is good. YouTube Premium, basically what it does, I pay £11 a month for my YouTube Red subscription. YouTube Premium, whatever they fucking call it these days. And whatever I watch over the month, that whatever money gets allocated for the channels, like obviously YouTube take their cut, maybe it's 40%. So 60%, let's say, for argument's sake, of the money from that subscription goes to the channels that I watch, specifically the amount of watch time that I watch on those channels. So if I watch one video a whole month, that whole $6 or whatever it is goes to that one channel, that one whatever. But if I watch 10 videos at a minute each, then equally everyone will get 60 cents. So that's how it works, and it's really good. It helps kind of, you can kind of rely on that a little bit more, that income a little bit more than the ad revenue, because ad revenue is up and down all the time, and we don't know whether it's going to be a ribeye steak or a spam month, to be honest. Sometimes you just don't know whether it's going to be premium or, yeah, it's just how it is. YouTube. But yeah, we do get a slice of the pie. Thank you very much for, if you do watch us, if you're on the YouTube Red, don't worry. If you do subscribe to that, don't worry. You don't have to feel guilty about watching us on that, because it does contribute. So thanks very much. Moving on.
Yeah, so okay, we've got a few questions here from Metal Shark, again, regular contributor. Hypothetical. It's the PGG Championships 2019, a battle to see who has the greatest gaming prowess and the right to bring this up as often as they like over the next year. A best of 3, with Henry picking one event, Gareth picking another, and one being mutually agreed. Events can be straight on head-to-heads, e.g. 2-player Smash Bros, single-player challenges like who can complete the first level of Mario the fastest, or hybrid challenges such as who can count down from 1000 the furthest while staying alive in Devil May Cry 5's Bloody Palace. What events would you choose? P.S. In a dispute, Gareth gets the final say. So we get to pick a challenge each, and then we join together on one.
Okay.
So presumably we've got to pick one that the other person isn't very good at so we can win. But I'm not very good at any game.
Right, what are you going to pick though?
Probably Smash Bros.
Yeah, because I've never played that.
Yeah, so I feel like I should have an advantage. And you're a mouse and keyboard player.
Yeah.
So if your challenge would probably involve a PC game, so I'll take the controller option because it's safer for me.
I've picked out some awesome picks, right? First one is going to be Sensible Soccer. Right. They remade this, right? You're not a football player or a sports gamer. But Sensible Soccer from the Amiga was a classic game, and check this gameplay out, man. You always knew how to curl it into the top corner.
I've played that, yeah.
Oh, it's the best game ever. I hope they remake that. Anyway.
The best football game ever is undeniably Red Card, in my opinion, because there was a button to punch players.
Okay.
You could drop kick people in the face.
Each their own.
It was amazing.
It can't be Sensible Soccer. Sensible Soccer was the best football ever. Commodore Amiga. So our tiebreaker is going to have to be you playing beach volley on the Amiga 500. Ocean beach volley on Amiga 500. This was a classic, awesome game. I'm telling you.
But I've never played it, so that can't be our tiebreaker.
But I get the deciding vote because I don't agree with anything that you're going to suggest.
by default.
By default, no. Well, that'd be it'd be great just to play those games competitively because I could trounce you in them. But beach volley was really good as well. But anyway. Could we agree on one though?
I don't know. What would probably be like a shooter or something, wouldn't it? Oh, well, could to do one that's like a hybrid, like he was saying, do like getting from end to end in Spider-Man or something using the web swinging.
GoldenEye on the N64 has to be the decider.
Yeah, but I've never played GoldenEye. I don't own an N64.
It's the best shooter ever.
I mean, that's what they tell me, but I haven't played it, so I can't.
Not just them. I'll tell you, best shooter ever. Okay, we can't agree on that.
Well, I don't know.
What about a race on a racing game that we're both shit at?
Yeah, we're both not very good.
Let's do like a Formula One or something. The latest Formula One, whatever it is, or
a Forza or one of them.
Let's do a racing game that neither of us are any good at. So I pick Sensible Soccer.
Yeah, I pick Smash Bros.
And then we'll do
a race
out in a race. Okay, good answers.
Okay, then there's another one from Metal Shark saying, at Henry, come October, will you do a year in review look back at what it's like coming to YouTube in 2018 and becoming a content creator? The journey from Subway to Tube, if you will. Probably not, to be honest. I know I will definitely think about it in my head to be like, oh, cool, my life's way better because now I'm not in Subway. But I mean, you obviously seem to care a little bit, which is nice. Thank you very much. But I don't think anyone really would care about like putting together a whole thing. I'll do it as a podcast segment, I think.
Yeah. Your thoughts on what it's like doing YouTube content now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can tell you immediately it's better.
It's like, better than working a Subway.
Making fucking sandwiches.
Yeah. It's not as easy as you think it is, though, right?
No, certainly not.
It has its challenges, right?
Yeah.
It's not as glorious and as good as it looks, right?
Well, I wouldn't even say it's not as glorious as it looks because I look for transparency and stuff, and I try and look over the glossy kind of layer of shit. Like even in films and showbiz, if I see there's a glossy feel, but I know there's going to have been people who like cried over doing this, and it's going to have been hard. So I knew there'd be challenges, but I didn't. Some appeared in ways that I didn't necessarily expect, and others were easier than I thought. Yeah. For instance, just being on camera, I thought that'd be super difficult, and obviously I was nervous at the beginning, but
yeah, you get over that.
That's not really an issue.
That's something that just comes with time.
Yeah.
But in terms of like creativity is the worst one. When you get burnt out, when you feel like you're just not inspired to create anything, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Because it's like a cloud that hangs over you. It's like, I don't feel inspired to do anything, but I need to get something done. Otherwise, I don't get paid, or money doesn't come in, or views. People start questioning, what's happening to the channel? There's no content. Have you finished? Whatever. I took a year off on my guitar channel recently because I was kind of uninspired, and it's the worst feeling in the world thinking that there's people waiting for content, but I'm just not motivated to do it. And it's like, oh yeah, boo-hoo, you do YouTube for a living, but it's something that does weigh on you. And in terms of like going back to an earlier question about what makes you depressed and stuff like that, it's people's expectations that really kind of overshadow me. That's for sure.
That kind of reductive statement, you do YouTube for a living, you've got it easy, but the key part is that it's a living. Like if I don't do it, I will not earn money and therefore not be able to do stuff. It's like if you're having a hard time in your regular office job, say you're an accountant or something, you lose that client, you lose another client.
Yeah, sure.
And you're missing out, and then you're gonna lose your job because you're not performing.
Yeah, it's
the same thing.
It's fundamentally a very creative job, which you could be in worse jobs. You could be building walls for a living, putting bricks on top of one another. But so the feedback that you get in a creative industry is so much greater than any other industry. I feel like being creative and making something and people enjoying that and appreciating that is very rewarding. It's awesome, and I wouldn't change that, right? I forget where my point's going now, but yeah, I think it always has its challenges. Whatever industry you're in, when you get down to it, it's like you can think of all the good ideas in the world, but unless you can translate that into a video that is engaging and entertaining and informative and whatever, unless you can translate an idea into something that's tangible, it's worth shit. It really is worth shit. And for all the ideas that you think you might have, this would be a good video, that'd be a good video, there are so many challenges along the way in terms of prepping it, like pre-production, filming it, editing it, getting that vision realized in the final. It's not all fun and games, although there are a lot of fun and games along the way, Mr. Metal Shark.
Yeah.
I've been on YouTube 10 years in September. 10 years since I created my guitar channel. September the 9th, I think it was. That'll be a milestone. And 750,000 subscribers I'm approaching now. Yeah. It'll be a few years, and hopefully I'll be up to 1 million. That'll be some milestone. That'll be pretty cool. Anyway, that's enough reminiscing. Let's move on. Another Metal Shark question. How do you think the new EU rules coming through requiring 2-year guarantees against defects on digital services and software, for example, affecting games, as well as resale rights on software, still not straightforward even after 7 years, will affect consumers? I haven't looked into this.
I have no idea. Well, let's just have a...
I thought you were going to say you have looked into it.
Oh, no, of course not. Because, Shark, you're really good with your questions, but some are like really specific.
They're very specific. You have to know what are my thoughts on something that's very specific. Had we have done the background research, maybe you would have an opinion. But let's read this article. EU adopts new rules on sales contracts for goods and digital content is the headline. The EU is introducing new rules to make it easier and safer for consumers to buy and companies to sell both goods and digital content cross-border. So that's good. It feels like that should be a good thing, specifically when games are mis-selling, because mis-selling games is one of the biggest problems of the industry. They pitch it as one thing, it turns out not thing, or it's not feature complete at launch, and maybe they don't even they promise, like Anthem for example, they promise certain things and a certain time frame, but they don't deliver. Like, what fallback is there for consumers on that? Like, what safety net is there? Like, we're paying for a promise of something, it never gets realized. Like, surely they're accountable for that, but no.
Do you have the right to return it or get a refund or whatever?
It's coming through, requiring 2-year guarantees against defects on digital services. It sounds good. It sounds just what they need. The law needs to be updated along with technology, right? And the games industry has changed so quickly now that these digital products have been put out and been fixed after the day of launch. It's like the law doesn't reflect the state of the technology right now. So it's good that they're looking at this, that's for sure. I don't know how I can't answer your question. I don't know how it's going to affect it. Let's hope that it affects it for the better and it holds these companies accountable for the horrible buggy state that they throw their games out. Looking at you, Fallout 76.
Well, realistically, it probably won't be enforceable here in a few years when we finally get out of the EU, if they ever sort out what the hell they're doing with Brexit.
We got EU election now, today,
which we were supposed to be avoiding. It's like,
we're going to elect our EU representatives today. Next week we'll be out of bloody EU, or Theresa May will be out of a job. One of the two.
Or there'll be more milkshakes flung at people, and then they think it's
don't get me started
the same level as racial hatred and shit.
Oh, let's not go there. So hopefully that kind of touches a little bit on the question that we don't know the answer to. So thanks again, Metal Shark. And let's move on. You want to read the last one?
So this last one from Jason Jackson. Gaz, have you completed Sekiro yet without cheats? 80 hours in and I'm just getting towards the end. I refuse to give up until I painstakingly kill the final boss. Have you even picked up Sekiro?
Man, more power to you, Jason. If you've got 80 hours to contribute to the game, I couldn't do 8. I don't know how long I played it. Maybe it was 4 hours or something. I've got better... I've got better things to do with my time. If I had 80 hours spare, I probably wouldn't play Sekiro, but I don't have 8 hours spare in a week. Oh my God, 8 hours to myself, that would be a fine thing. I got so many things that I have time committed to that unfortunately I don't have the time to put in to a game like Sekiro. But unfortunately that's the way it is. So yeah, more power to you.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah. But, everyone's...
Do you think you'll ever go back to it? Just to dabble?
Doubt it. I doubt it. I think that the games that I played these days are with a view to talk about, either on the channel in whatever way, or just so that I'm informed when it comes to talking about stuff on the gaming channel, because like I said, my time is very scarce right now, and so if I'm playing a game, then I'm either playing it to make content on it, to talk about it on a podcast, or to or to whatever else for the gaming channel. So I can't go back to a game. Well, I could go back to a game like Sekiro and maybe think of an angle to come at some future content, but I think there's so many games coming up these days, so many new games getting released, that you kind of have to play the new ones to stay on the pulse. So unfortunately, it's just the position I'm in my life, that I just don't, there's not enough time, not enough hours in a day. If however you can slow the Earth's rotation to like maybe 40 or 50 hours, so that a day takes that long, then maybe we'll talk again.
I'm of no mind to bother with Sekiro. Like it looks pretty, I like the setting and stuff, but it's just not my kind of game.
Yeah.
So I'm just not gonna.
There's a strength in acknowledging that too, and you'll save so much money if you realise the games that appeal to you and the ones that don't. If you figure out what you like out of games, and then you look to the reviews to see whether what you enjoy out of a game is in this game or not, and if something that you don't. If it's something that you hate or you don't like this type of game, there's a power in that, because you'll save so much money. Unfortunately for me, I've got to buy games like Rage just to try them. Anyway, that's the end of our questions. We have got YouTube comments. So
let's have a look.
To peruse.
Now, have you got any pre-saved, or
no,
you just
I haven't. Any.
Nope, neither have I. I know there's some in here somewhere.
Flying by the seat of our pants today.
Once again, as if we'd ever do anything different. Okay, here we go. Here's one, and it speaks volumes for a number of other comments on the same type of thing. This was on our Rage 2 impressions yesterday, which, let's just say, it wasn't a review, and I explicitly said that. I think I did have the timestamp written down a moment ago. 1557, I think you'll find, I said this wasn't a review, but a lot of people didn't seem to like that.
Facts. Get the facts.
So this is the first one that's come up on my thing, but I've read loads like it. From Vortigon 1. A 3 to 6 hour play, and you already have formed an opinion we should listen. This here is why, no space. Game journalism, capital letters on both, is broken. So that video was an impressions video, and perhaps we could have put it in the title, but it's pretty obvious that it wasn't a review.
Yeah. Because
we're just chatting, and we said we've only played this much. Like we said, we've not played loads. We've only played this amount.
So the question is, like, how is our opinion on the game legitimate, because we've only played 6 hours of it? 6 hours is a lot of fucking time, right? And if you're not enjoying something for 6 hours and you think that I should complete it in order to have an informed decision, the game might change halfway through and it might be good for the second half, but the first half is still shit, whether you like that or not. Okay, 6 hours. I wouldn't stay in a movie for more than 2 hours if that was boring. I'd walk out. Right, just 6 hours of a game, 6 hours of my life I will never get back. I don't need to play it more than 6 hours to tell you that I didn't enjoy it, and that's what this video is, telling the people that I didn't enjoy the 6 hours. We didn't say it was a review, right? We said it's an impression. We've been totally transparent with the amount of time that we're playing with it, just so that you know that whether our opinions hold any validity to you. If you think, you can decide for yourself then whether you think our opinions are worth anything. Because if you don't think that our opinions are worth anything, if we haven't played the whole game, go and watch a review. Go and see that, because we are representing the people who would also not enjoy this game for the first 6 hours. We're trying to save some people money. They won't say that in the reviews, because I've had a really bad experience with the game. I don't like the game. I really don't like it. But I did say shooting's fun and you should buy it if you enjoyed the Doom shooting and the combat, right? I'm being as objective as possible there. I realise that there's fun to be had with the game if you're a different type of person, and I'm not saying that everyone should not buy this game because you won't have fun. I'm being more objective perhaps than a lot of the reviews that you've read, and to say that we're not entitled to any opinion because we've only paid 6 hours is ludicrous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All you're doing is justifying a game that you like. You like the game, we understand. We don't like the game. That doesn't make our opinion any less valid just because we've played less of the game because we got bored and we didn't want to play any more of it. So let that be a lesson to you, you idiot.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything more to say on the matter.
All of the above, right?
Quote Gareth Evans.
All of the above. Yeah, as long as we're transparent, that's all that matters. You can decide for yourself whether our opinion. If you hear the very first part, the first minute in the video, we've only played 6 hours, you think, well, these guys don't know what they're talking about, then I'll watch another video. That's up to you. We're letting it out there. We're letting you make the decision.
Yeah.
Anyway,
have you got one ready to go?
Sorry, I was ranting too.
Ranting too hard. All right,
I was ranting too hard.
This one made me chuckle, and we should have absolutely thought of it. It's on our open world Game of Thrones game that may or may not be coming from the mind of Mr. George R. R. Martin himself. This person, Rabco, said Stark Souls, duh. I'm like, that's such a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because in Dark Souls, but the Starks, like, that's so obvious.
Stark Souls.
How did no one get that?
How did this kid did?
That? Good for you.
This kid did. I thought I saw Metal Shark's comment on there, I remember, and I liked that one. I can't remember where it was though. Let me see if I can find that one, because open world Game of Thrones game.
I mean,
from
soft.
Oh, there was one comment that was like, maybe you should fix your title, like bad title, guys. Open world Game of Thrones game from. I mean, that is it's a title that writes itself, right? Okay. There's another one saying, a lot of people saying that, as far as I understand, this is an example of it. As far as I understand the rumour, it's not a Game of Thrones game, it's just that George R. R. Martin is the co-writer for it. And a lot of people are saying that it's a Norse-based game, and this was obviously a different source to the source that we used in our video. It might just, we are obviously talking about a rumour, right? And a rumour source from Gamatsu, who's spoken to somebody who apparently close with From Software, who say it's a Game of Thrones game. This source said it's a Game of Thrones game. Other sources have said it's a Norse-based game. Who knows? We don't know because they're just rumours. That doesn't take anything away from what we've reported, because we're reported on a specific source, which is Gamatsu's insider. So, we could have used both sources. Maybe we should have done that, but still, that's the way it is.
Yeah. So I've just clocked one comment here, and it's on our podcast video from last week where we talked a bit about the Raising Kratos documentary, and also talked about saying his name incorrectly, because you've been called up in comments before. And this person, Phaedrus Socrates, A in Kratos is to be said like dance, but the British way, not American. Now, I have a lot wrong with that, because it's not Kratos, because the way I say dance, the southern way,
Kratos,
is dance, and it's certainly not Kratos. But if it's dance, like the more northern way, is it Kratos?
Yeah.
Either way,
Kratos.
Neither way you've listed is how the characters in the game say it. And I always believe I'll pronounce it the way the characters say it, and they call him Kratos. No one calls him Kratos or Kratos or Kratos or Kratos. So that's a bit confusing, that one.
Yeah.
But British way, not American. The British accent's so broad. So is the American as well, but there's so many different ones.
Next question on the Game of Thrones rumoured game video. There was somebody, it's some sort of Chinese symbol name, so I can't even begin to try and pronounce that, because I've got no idea to read Chinese. He says, please do gaming related discussion on this channel. We're talking about a Game of Thrones game, rumoured Game of Thrones game. This isn't that game? Isn't that gaming?
What?
Isn't that gaming? Isn't like it's a game that was based on a show doesn't make it not gaming. What? I don't understand.
It's just some comments are so unfathomably stupid.
Maybe English isn't his first language and he didn't watch the video.
Or maybe he's trying to make a joke, but because you can't interpret text in a certain way.
I found it. Metal Shark's comment.
Oh, good.
So Sekiro makers make a Game of Thrones game. GOT good. Got good.
Yes, yeah, well, I saw that one. Yeah,
Good. That's good.
I like that.
I like that.
That was funny.
I liked it. Nobody else liked it. I gave it a heart and everything. Nobody else. I thumbed it up for you there. There you go. Hopefully you get some traction now. Lord Dazer, I've got this good one. Sorry. Yeah. Riding horses, I think I'll just stick to fast travel like they do in the show.
Yeah, I saw that one. That one made me laugh.
Fun. Awesome. Good.
Yeah. I did have one here, but I've just lost it. Let's see if I can dig it out again. Oh, where are we? Oh, here we go. It was on the Sony Loves Microsoft one from Friday, and this is Pavel. Pavel? Is it? Well, presumably that's a Polish term. Pavel Winsniewski. Full apologies, but to all Xbox and PS fans, in words of a legend, Ali G, put down your AKs, lay down your Uzis, and unite in a one massive. I love Ali G.
Oh, is that Ali G?
Ali G put down your AK. Well, his accent's really weird because it's London, but so over the top, like gangster. Put down your AKs, lay down your Uzis, unite in one massive.
It
was one of Sacha Baron Cohen's greatest creations.
Yeah. Oh, it's best, to be sure. Bruno can get to fuck.
I never saw Bruno. Borat was funny. I did enjoy Borat, but Ali G's the one.
Yeah, Ali G is if you haven't seen Ali G, oh my god, it was a lot funnier than his other characters. Christopher Bell, welcome back to my front page, guys.
Oh, yeah, that's progress.
Good to be here. Nice to be back. Boys are back in town. What do you think about that?
Oh man,
are you having it? We're back on the front page. Awesome. So any more before we wrap this shit up?
No, I haven't got any ready to go unless you've got
Carl Mag should have let CDPR make the games. They have experience in that area and are absolutely amazing to Game of Thrones game.
Yeah, that's a.
We said for ages want a Game of Thrones RPG game.
They would be just so perfect. And there's loads of comments echoing that sentiment. But I'm interested in what FromSoft do if this is the game they're making. Mm-hmm. What they do. I mean, it's a new thing. I like new things.
What I don't get is if it is a Norse game, why would George R. R. Martin be consulting on them? He's not well known for his mythology. He likes history, right?
Yeah, because Game of Thrones is heavily inspired by
real life,
the War of the Roses and the Tudors and stuff.
And he's a history buff, man. Yeah. You see him talk and he knows shit about history. He doesn't know much about Norse mythology. It wouldn't make sense.
Why would you go to FromSoft to do a Norse game? Because I mean, obviously they can learn and everything, but they're a Japanese company, and they do have a lot of interest in particularly European history. Like look at Dark Souls, that's European medieval history, or Bloodborne, that's Gothic European history. So they don't have, I don't know, it just seems like an odd choice to go for a Viking place with that studio, but who knows.
And I guess the last comment, Cloney, I don't like people either, talking about you saying, I mean, out of principle.
Just my neutral state of
just don't like people.
I've got
people ruin things, don't they?
Don't they?
You go places and there's people there. It's like, fuck, what are you doing here? I came here to have a good time, and you're in the way.
It would be better if you just stopped.
You're in the way. You're not considerate. You don't move out my way when I need to go that way. You make me queue for long times. You're loud and obnoxious, and you scream over people. You smell. You look horrible, minging. Just have a wash.
You offend all
wash
of my
your bloody
senses.
hair once in a while, why don't you? You look horrible. Just have wash your face and your hair, man. It's well greasy, and just move out of my way. Don't be stinking up the place. Like I want to go on that. I want to get in the queue. I want to buy something. You're just there. Just move.
I like to think of myself as not a particularly sexist or racist person, but as soon as it comes to middle-aged white women with children, I cannot fucking stand it.
Wow, that's strong words. I mean,
from working in retail for years, they are always the most unpleasant.
Working with the public is the worst.
But because normally the blokes, they just get a bit uppity and aggressive, and then they'll storm out. They'll normally just be, and piss off. And it's like, all right, fine, I've had an unpleasant moment for a few seconds. The middle-aged women with kids, it's even better when the kids are there, because then they really play it up, because they use them as leverage. They make your personal existence so terrible.
Give us an anecdote.
I wasn't directly serving them, because it was in Subway. I was down the line. I was at the till. One of my colleagues was further up. She was on the phone. She was doing. Someone was telling her through the phone what to order, and that's always quite difficult. But you give and take, you can get there. And she just wasn't making things easy. She was very obnoxious, very loud. And then she said, "Oh, can I have blah blah blah?" And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that." And she's like, "Oh my god, can you believe they don't have that?" Making a scene in front of everyone. And then he goes. He says something, and he could have been more polite, but it wasn't rude. It was just very flat and blunt. And it's like, if you don't like it, you can go to our other store. They'll have it. And really, that's the right thing to say, because if they want a thing, they can go get it. And it's
facts
not
is
far.
Facts.
It's just the other side.
Can't change the facts.
Exactly. And she just goes, "Wow, that's so rude!" Like looking around at everyone to get support, and everyone's just like, "What are you doing?" Like no one cares. It's the middle of a lunch rush. We've got a queue to the door. We just want to get our stuff and go. And she then like half storms out. When they go to the door, but then sort of like turn back to have another moment and then leave.
Make a final point before.
You've lost a loyal customer. Never seen that woman before or since.
Ever since.
Like, so.
Well, there you go. Let's put these middle-aged women with kids to rights.
Get out of here.
Boys in blue have spoken.
We have.
And on that note, we shall wrap up the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast. Príomh Indig Oith. I didn't even present it in the Welsh.
I was wondering if you'd carry on with that.
Príomh Indig Oith. It was.
How do you spell that? How many L's and Y's are in there?
R-H-I-F. Príomh.
R-H-Y-F. I-F.
And Undig Oith. That's 18. So U-N-D-E-G-W-Y-T-H.
There's only one Y.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Undig Oith. There you go. That's the end of the number 18 Pretty Good Gaming Podcast of 2019. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
With Gareth Evans.
I hope you enjoyed it. There you go. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you did and you want to support the content, head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You can get early access to this podcast for next week. If you're watching on YouTube here, 2 days early. And they get the patrons get the podcast on a Friday, and everyone else gets it on a Sunday, so you can know what's happening before everybody else. And also you get the satisfaction of knowing that you're supporting the content that we bring, because like we touched on earlier, AdSense don't do shit. So that's it from Henry and I. We will see you again next week, and until then, bye for now.